So once I educated myself on narcolepsy, I found it extremely intriguing. However, I still felt very alone. Narcolepsy is a chronic neurological disorder that impairs the brain's ability to regulate the sleep and wake cycle. It is a rare disease. It affects 1 in 2,000 people in the United States, so 200,000 people in the US, or 3 million people worldwide. So the symptoms of narcolepsy include excessive daytime sleepiness, which is comparable to someone who doesn't have narcolepsy going without sleep for 48 to 72 hours. That's the extreme fatigue that we feel on a daily basis at any given time. Cataplexy is another symptom of narcolepsy. It's a sudden loss of muscle tone, usually in response to a strong emotional trigger, such as joy, anger, or fear. And it can be anything from the slackening of your neck or your jaw, the slurring of your speech, to the buckling of the knees, all the way to a complete collapse. The duration of these cataplectic episodes can last anywhere from a few seconds to a few minutes, and it's important to remember that the person is completely conscious the entire time. So even though you may not be able to respond during these episodes, you're always completely conscious. The only thing that you would need to do if you were around someone that experienced cataplexy is to make sure that they're able to breathe if they do have a complete collapse. People with narcolepsy have to adapt to their surroundings when it comes to cataplexy. So I experience cataplexy most often in my knees, with my knees buckling. So I know if I'm at the grocery store or at Target, I'm usually pushing a cart so that if something happens, I'm able to catch myself. I'm going to be less likely to fall completely to the floor if I have something to grasp onto, or if I'm walking through the parking lot, I'm always holding my husband's arm, kind of a thing, especially if I'm feeling tired or if I'm feeling more exhausted, because it can come on just from being exhausted as well. Hypnagogic and hypnopompic hallucinations can occur in people with narcolepsy, and they usually happen when you're falling asleep or when you're waking up. And they can be scary and confusing. They can be auditory, as in hearing. They can be tactile. You can feel like you're being touched. They engage the senses, just like in my story about thinking my house was on fire, where I could feel it, I could taste it, I could smell it. So it becomes very confusing for people and can be very frightening, especially for children, as you can imagine. Sleep paralysis is the inability to move for a few seconds to a few minutes upon falling asleep or waking up as well. And a lot of times during these sleep paralysis, the hallucinations occur. So when you feel like you're locked or trapped inside your body and you're having these hallucinations that you think are so real that they're reality for you at the moment, it can be very scary. Another symptom of narcolepsy is disrupted nighttime sleep. Imagine a faulty cell phone battery. You plug it in before you go to bed at night, and when you wake up, you expect it to be fully charged and ready to last the day. So for us, we may get 8 to 10 hours of sleep a night, but when I wake up, I feel completely exhausted, as if I hadn't slept at all, just like my faulty cell phone battery. So people with narcolepsy, we don't sleep anymore than everybody else. It's just that our sleep is off, so to speak. I like to say that our sleep cycles have gone rogue. So instead of having a normal sleep pattern, our sleep pattern just kind of crazy all over the place. And it's 24 hours a day sleep cycling versus just at night when you're asleep. So there are 2 forms of narcolepsy. Narcolepsy type 1 is narcolepsy with cataplexy, and narcolepsy type 2 is narcolepsy without cataplexy. People who have narcolepsy type 1 are missing a lot of the neurotransmitter hypocretin, which is responsible for regulating the sleep and wake cycle. Narcolepsy type 2 without cataplexy, there's less known about what the cause of that is. So diagnosis of narcolepsy includes a 24-hour sleep study, the nighttime portion, which is a polysomnogram, and then a daytime portion, which is the MSLT, a multiple sleep latency test. So what they're looking for is how frequently and how fast you enter REM sleep during those episodes. There is currently no cure for narcolepsy. The current treatments include stimulants for the daytime, sedatives for the nighttime, antidepressants to help control the cataplexy, and scheduled daytime naps to help you get through your day. For me, I have to take scheduled daytime naps. It is much easier to go about my day knowing that I have a certain nap time, a time of day that I know that I'm probably going to be sleepier, which is early afternoon, so it's better for me to plan my day around that. And it's not convenient at all. A lot of people think that they wish that they could take naps every day, but when it's something that you have to do, it's completely different. If I don't take my nap, then you don't know if you're going to be dealing with Crabby Shannon or Hyper Shannon. My family would much rather prefer Hyper Shannon, but it's definitely easier to control your day if you're able to take that nap. It's not always refreshing, but somehow I'm able to get through the day a little bit easier when I do have that nap.